All right, guys. Welcome back.
2023.
New year.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, who this?
Happy New Year, man. We are off to a glorious start. Market Mondays, the return.
Nah, Shotty, I need that LeBron 47
Yeah.
front row energy. Come on.
Shout out to King James.
Got the money green on?
We're gonna get to that. Shout out to King James. Happy birthday. Yeah, man. It was a glorious 2022.
Indeed.
But we never look backwards. We only look forward. So we got a lot planned for 2023. Hopefully, we can be announcing some things very, very soon.
Shortly.
As you can see, we upgraded the visuals, getting the visual experience
Yes.
more dynamic. We got a lot of other surprises that we got in store in the next couple of weeks. This is going to be the biggest one yet.
New plaques. Plaques.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out to everybody that's been champion Market Mondays from day one. Everybody that's spread the message via, social media, YouTube, however you consume the content, SoundCloud, well, not SoundCloud, all podcast outlets, Apple and Spotify.
And future technology partners that we may partner with and work with in the future.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
That's why I said the new plaques is really a testament to everybody that's champion the mission. So as you can see, we got the million subscribers on here. So shout out to everybody on Earn Your Leisure Network. Shout out to all the shows, man. Shout out to everybody that's watching and everybody from day one. I think on the first episode we said our only mission is that you tell a friend to tell a friend. That was the biggest thing, and y'all have done that in a tremendous way. So this is a testament to y'all, and that's why we work the way we work. So appreciate y'all wholeheartedly. Love is love.
Yes.
So let's get into this. So big week for us at EYL. We got my guy Ross Mack.
Hey.
Long time coming. Shout out to Chicago.
That's my guy.
We was just with him a few weeks ago. So, he comes from Wall Street, actually. That was his background originally. He went to the Wharton School of Business, and that's one of the most prestigious schools in the world, University of Pennsylvania. And he worked on Wall Street. Then he stopped, and now he, does a variety of different things. He's a correspondent for The Street, financial influencer, has courses, has books, and he's just everything.
He's part of our Revolt family.
He's on Revolt.
Yes.
Ross Mack, super smart guy when it comes to finance. All of the credentials that you would be looking for when it comes to having trust in somebody. And
he worked at Morgan Stanley.
Like, I think that's the most legendary. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Like if you ever been around him, his energy is infectious. He's knowledgeable. His knowledge base is extremely high. But he's just a good dude to be around. Like extremely helpful. Anytime you need something or you call on him for something, he's reliable. He's just a good dude, and he's a good dad too. Shout out to the series that he does with his kids in his car, man. They're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow at 8:00, first episode of the year for Earn Your Leisure. And next week we will be in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Shout out to Houston. Martin Luther King weekend, January 13th to the 15th, 40 acres. Conference in Houston, Texas, and this is going to be one of them ones, man. It's a 40 days of events 40 events that they're doing in 4 days, and the goal is to sponsor 500 kids to actually come to the event. So if you buy a VIP ticket, that actually goes to sponsor a kid to come to the event. And we will be at the Celebrity Golf Tournament on Friday, and we will also be Saturday. We will be interviewing a celebrity to be announced. Special guest celebrity.
They heard about our golf.
So this is a vibe. Anytime we get to Houston, it's always a vibe. Shout out to the Houston family. Shout out to Slim Thug. Shout out to everybody, man.
Yeah.
Houston has always been a good city for us. So MLK weekend, no better way to spend it than with the good folks of Houston and Texas. So yeah, man, pull up on us. It's gonna be like I said, it's 40 events in 4 days. So
that's insane.
Go to 40, the number 40 acre conference.org, 40acreconference.org. Get your tickets. We will be there. Surprise guests, high level celebrity. It's a vibe.
You know how it goes.
Start off the year right, man. Let's go.
The only way.
Another golf tournament we've been invited to, man. Yeah. You know what that means.
Pack my clubs.
Quick victory.
Got my quick
victory.
Quick. Yeah. We only come to these events to win. So
that's it. Troy, housekeeping item?
Yeah, man. You know how this works. This is our disclaimer. Do your own research, y'all. It's a new year, but it's the same rules apply. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment decision based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. This is a message brought to you by the good folks at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor himself. Man, please continue to do the research. When it's good research, share it. And if you hear from us, please give us the credit. We appreciate
yes,
you.
please.
Ian, announcements.
Love you guys. Stock Club call will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. Then a week after that, we'll get back to normal schedule of having a Stock Club call on Mondays. If you're tired of losing in the market and want to win while everybody else is down, please join the Stock Club. And if you want to hear from me, Troy, and Rashad about some of the best trades to take, you can join our group text. We've been putting some fire in there. The call we had the other day, fire. Sure. So I think we need to do that more often. And prices will be raised soon. You see that crystal ball glowing?
Yeah.
Ticketmaster. Whenever Ticketmaster sends the emails out to us, I will send you Stock Club, Sniper, all the bonuses from the show. But I think they're still like getting their ish together from the Taylor Swift fiasco. So please be patient with that. But yeah, join Stock Club, join our group text chat if you want to make money. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. I hope that I can be at the Houston event, but I'm probably going to be in Mexico setting up my place. Leisure has been earned. So if not, y'all have my support.
So good.
Yeah. Shout out to our chat, man. Shout out to that. That was dope. We had
that was fun.
It was almost like 45-minute call. We released some nice incentives inside of there, and we got some special announcements that hopefully that everybody inside the chat gonna hear before the general public. So it's gonna be dope, man. Shout out to everybody that pulled up on us in that.
IanInvest.com. And yeah, we had a dope Zoom call. We're gonna be doing more of those. The first couple of weeks we was just trying to get the system in place, and then the holidays came, but kicking off the year in the right manner with that, more content, more Zoom call, more price action. So tap in with that, ianinvest.com for sure for the
more victories.
The only way.
More dubs.
The only way. All right, let's get into this. So Tesla missed its Q4 estimates. Do we feel Tesla is in trouble this year, or will it make a recovery? So we just starting out this year. Markets closed holiday, but Tesla's one of those stocks, and of course, it's been well documented that Elon Musk lost the most amount of money in history.
200 billion.
He lost 200 billion, and that was
yeah.
So he lost the most. He lost the most in history.
It's the big one. Jesus.
So
you pulled the Sanford and Son.
For real.
That was because the Tesla stock was down. That's why he lost so much money. So, okay, a lot of people are interested in investing in Tesla. What's the deal?
Good investment. You got to wait till 103.52. The easy gains of the last few years are gone. Now this is the market for those who are like extremely patient, and the patience leads to profitability. I need people to stop panicking when these kind of drops have happened, especially when we're calling them here. Resolution number 1. I don't want you guys to listen to anybody else about investing but us. Write that in chat. I read a comment on my social. Shout out to Chris who reposted it when I was like, hey, Tesla's going to fall. And somebody's like, I want whatever he's smoking. And the price got hit. I need you to look at marking off all of your levels for the year on the top 100 companies in the world. So if they get there in advance, you're good. Tesla's a good company. 40% growth, but they just missed on a delivery estimate. I think they'll be fine. I said the market won't recover until 2023, like May or June. If you are getting it now in a 103, 101 price, 105 price for Tesla, you'll be very happy in 2 years. I think all the people who wanted quick gains, who were not patient and who bought at bad prices got punished, and those who were patient are doing incredibly well. You can set up your generation in the next 5 years by making a couple of good moves. I like Tesla for the long term. I do want him to get more focus back on Tesla. We'll talk about AI and ChatGPT, which he helped co-create and invested in. But they need to find a lot more ways to automate some of the infrastructure at Twitter. But I think ChatGPT will be an easy way that will allow him to take his hands off of Twitter and focus back on Tesla. But I think give it a year or so, Tesla will be back in pole position for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple things there. I think if perspective is key on that, right? If you look at it, I know price adjusted because of the splits that they've had, but in 2020 it was trading at $54, right? So if you look at it now, like you said, it's still up over 40%. It's had the worst year since 2008. This is true, but production was the reason, right? And obviously, production has a lot to do with the supply chain issues, but you can see the development that's happening. Obviously, we talked about it numerous times about the factories that they're building here domestically and internationally. So you see that there's potential for growth. But we got to look at Tesla two ways, right? Either you can look at it, well, three ways. You could look at it as a EV company, a car company, and then base it on that, and then look what its competitors are when you talk about Ford and GM, and it's not even close. Or you could look at it as a tech company and look at where it does in that sector. Or you could look at it as a hybrid of both. And if we do that, then you understand the long-term growth that's going to be associated with this company. And so, yes, was it a tough year for them? Yes, absolutely, 1,000%. But it's the same thing we've been saying for the past 3 years. When we talk about investing, we're not talking about 1 year or 2 years, or we're not even talking about day trading. We're talking about a long-term perspective. And so I think that's the key, right? If Tesla was something we believed in when it was at, again, price adjusted at over $400, it's something that you still should believe in when it's down here at 123 like it is today. So I'm still long on Tesla.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere. The lead that it has in the EV space, especially in the car market, is I mean, it's so gigantic, and the technology that they put out. I mean, you can look at even like a Mercedes who's doing EV now. Is just not the same. So they're well ahead in that space, and I think it's going to continue, especially when you see a lot of not even just states, like we saw New York and we saw California, but now countries are saying, look, we're going EV by 2030 or 2035. When you're the leader in that space, I mean, you got a distinct advantage.
And what's the purpose of electronic vehicles? If we're going to be honest, data is the new gold. So I don't think anyone technically wants electronic vehicles. What governments at scale do want is the ability to track and have that data and be able to harvest it. So if they're the leader with one of the biggest tech players, origins in South Africa, dad was a gold and diamond miner. You can put the correlations together. This is ultimately a data exploration at scale. And if they can get an international market share of 45%, that will be the new big tech wave. Because now we have to go away from software that's useless. We have to have a hybrid of hardware and software that has real world use case for. So now if we can track where everyone is going, spending habits, even with the Roomba, Amazon Genius acquisition, now you can see what the floor space is on average is in aggregate across the United States, so you know what better furniture to sell them, what products they need. So this is really a data mining game on top of EV. And well played by the government, well played by Elon to set up a B to G category and make electronic vehicles sexy when no one else wanted a Prius prior to. Put yes in chat if I made you money. Tesla's good for the long term. And I know everyone's like, yo, how can you support Elon? He's not pro-black. Neither is Kanye. Who got the biggest fumble, Elon or Kanye?
That was an actual article.
Hey, Elon didn't have to sing to get his bae to come back to him one time on stage. That boy gonna be straight. Shout out to Kanye though. That was another call I made that last year too. But hey, bow gracefully. Shout out to Kanye though, and Elon.
Just to add to it, you said the stock was at 50 and now it's at 100. So, but it did split.
Oh yeah,
It's split.
Yes,
that's what I said. Price adjusted
twice. It split twice.
Yeah, they did the 5-1, and they did another. I think they did another 3-1. Yeah, so price adjusted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the question that everybody wants to know.
No, don't be shy now. Go ahead.
This is it.
Bring your kids to
what
work.
What do you think will be the best performing stock this year? What's your pick?
Schlumberger did pretty well this year. If the economy stays down, I'm going to lean on one of my babies, Microsoft. And not because historically I love it and I love the CEO, but I think we'll have a bounce in the market, and I truly believe that Microsoft is going to get into that cybersecurity space. If you go look at some of the acquisitions that they've made and the team that they're building, I think for the first time in maybe 15 years, most corporations are saying, hey, we have to build some real businesses and not just software at scale and throw something out and hope that it works like Slack or any comparable companies. I think they're going to push heavy into that cybersecurity space. And then as a result, I think they'll have one of the best years that they've had in a while. No, baby. Let me finish.
Okay. So your pick is Microsoft.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: do you think that we will have a positive year for the stock market as a whole, or will we have a negative year?
I think we'll be 2023. Oh, no, I said the economy wouldn't recover to 2024. I think we'll be flat. I think we'll be flat. We may be somewhere around like 2 to 6%. Because if we just look at the landscape, still no quantitative easing.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to when we were talking last summer, when Sean was like, hey, most tech is too high. I agree. Also, when you look at the stats, since 1980, anytime we got to like 31% return, in a year or 3 years, we start to turn over to the downside. And that happened in 2020. Can anyone name me 15 companies right now that is just like producing amazing products with amazing net income, amazing revenue? Can't do it. So if 3,000 companies out there or 4,000 companies out there are underperforming, I don't think we'll have an amazing performance in the stock market. It is an accumulation phase though. This is the time when you like can get rich. If you're aiming to get like 1,000 shares a year or 1,000 shares every 2 years, and when this is over in a 5-year period, you'll be incredibly happy. But they should go watch the previous episodes on the Benner cycle. That'll tell you exactly when we'll start to like have a peak, a bust, a boom, and you can time when to place your capital into the market based on that. But I think we'll be relatively flat. I mean, Red Panda going to be up regardless, up market, down market. But for general consensus, I think we'll be flat.
Flat, he says. Okay. So the accumulation part is where I was going, and so last year I said Amazon, and obviously the market really punished them along with other tech stocks. But the accumulation is the reason I'm going to say I'm going to go with AMD
Gotcha.
as one of those stocks to watch in 2023. If you looked over the last quarter, especially in the semiconductor space, we saw a rise of maybe 30% for the space, which is interesting. Obviously, we were dealing with supply chain, but now it's oversupply, and now they have to regulate that. But I think the reason I'm looking at them is because of the fall that they've had. I think the stock was down 50% or 58%, trading at $64. Was at a peak at 147 at the time. I felt really great about that. I was still accumulating. But now it's down to 64. And I think based on that regulation of how they'll figure out the balance of supply chain versus over demand, the mere fact of their market share in the space, I'm pretty confident. I like them long term. Obviously, I've been accumulating that for a while, but where it's at right now and the upside for it, if you look at all the analyst projections, they're looking at it from 25% to 45% gain in 2023. I like AMD, but I got a surprise one for you. You ready?
Go ahead.
Lululemon.
I swear to God, that was on my list. Them and Halliburton and T-Mobile. Yes, Lulu is one of my favorites.
Lululemon, I've been watching from a retail. It's an athleisure wear, and I didn't realize it until like maybe during the pandemic when we saw a lot of people, go into that space, obviously because people were home, a lot more home exercise, and people went back to the gym. But then my daughter started bringing it up a lot, and it was, can I get this? Can I get this? And then I looked at her list for Christmas and her birthdays. It's been Lululemon on the list, and I'm like, this is becoming a thing amongst young people. And once I start seeing young people adapt toward an athleisure wear or a company, it tells me that they've hit the right market, because the only thing that happens when you galvanize young people is that you get more young people. So I like Lululemon as a company. If you look at the history of their stock over the past 3 to 5 years, you can see the growth. It's on my surprise list of 2023.
I will say too, if China releases or eases up on the COVID restrictions, Alibaba will be my number 2 as well. I don't know if they will, but the number 1 canary in the coal mine that I'm looking for this year. If China eases up on those restrictions and they let people start to move around the country freely, don't have as many lockdowns, that's going to be the first sign because that market is going to turn upward before ours does. And if we get 4 or 5 months of positive growth there, things are going to boom for us here, for sure.
All right, it's interesting.
You got one?
Yeah. Well, I don't really like to give predictions because
Because
of
you're
a variety
smart.
of different reasons.
You're
For a
smart.
variety.
Number one reason.
Listen,
But I'll say this: I won't. I won't. I won't say which stock I think is going to do the best this year, but I will say a stock that I think could potentially be the best buy this year. And being a best buy doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have a great year this year, but it's going to have a good run eventually when you buy it, and that's Amazon. And I feel like it's 50% off of its all-time high. Um, it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to figure this out. That at some point the ship is going to be turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not to say that's guaranteed that it's going to be booming this year as far as their stock, but strongly believe in what Amazon has, their business model. They've pretty much created a monopoly in their space. Um, and I think that they're going to continue to get bigger over the next decade. So anytime that you get a chance to buy a stock like Amazon at such a deep discount, I think you definitely have to consider it. And I think that if you hold for the long term, you will probably be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I just didn't want to say it 2 years in a row.
Got
I
to
said,
change it up.
yeah, I was like, let me just because they were like, yo, you said that last year, man. Stock went down 64%. That's a great one. I'll add another one.
That's why it's good now.
Yeah, great timing.
Well played.
I think Google's in that as well.
Absolutely.
I
Especially
think
with the NFL deal, which
we can't
that,
ignore that. We can't ignore that. That NFL deal is
told y'all. Everyone is your competitor.
yeah,
Everyone.
yeah. From an advertising space, from a content space, from a search engine, and now from a,
A
a live
viewership.
sports, a viewership, right? Because you figure that NFL ticket is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I think what are they selling it $300 for the season, $299 for the season, something like that. Which is, I
That's
mean,
Prime Plus, Prime NFL Plus.
that's a
Apple,
fact.
y'all better get 9 billion together for the Super Bowl. I'm going to make a call right now. Apple or Amazon is in 3 years is going to have exclusive rights to the Super Bowl. Oh, Ian's crazy. He's on pineapple juice again, Rashad. How do you deal with him? Okay. Everyone is your competition.
That's a
Let
big
Black
fact.
China clean up her act and go to etiquette classes. She'll be teaching investing on OnlyFans. Everybody is your damn competition. And once people realize that, and we're in a consolidation phase amongst tech too, Twitch had a whole bunch of deals they were giving out, then they consolidated, and now they're not as popular. I know like Academics doesn't have his deal there anymore, but T-Pain is popping. Everyone on earth is your competition. Shout out to Google, shout out to YouTube. We're living in interesting times. But if you go study the tech wars from 1994 through 2005, this is Alta Vista, YesG's, Google, AOL, Netscape. Go look at everything Mark Andreessen wrote back in the day. We're going through the second version of that. And Web 3.0 is overrated. Might clip that up.
So, all right.
Wait, hold on. What was that? A teacup?
Oh, yeah, chitty, y'all. Good time to drink, isn't it? Hey, we coming back. When we going back? Girl took the drink out my hand. You shouldn't carry rubbish. I said, baby, we go to Harrods right now. What you mean? A king like you should not even carry rubbish. What?
London.
Room 1714. Come on. What? Jesus.
We're on the way, man.
London women
we
different.
are on
Yeah.
the way. The Eagle has landed. Shout out to Coach Prime, Deion Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah, he reached out to us today.
Oh, for us, dope.
Yeah. He sent some words of encouragement.
What were those words, though? Come on.
He told us to continue what we're doing. He's proud of us. 2023 is going to be a big year for us. So, shout out to Coach Prime, man. That was
That's
dope.
fire.
Oh no, Sounds like Boulder's calling.
Boulder.
Love Denver.
Boulder, is that you?
We're gonna be on the sideline like Gillian Wallow. Hey,
The guy was in the
hey, what
skybox.
we doing? Let's go.
Boulder. Let's take this. Let's take this intermission break. I wanted to say something because I posted something on Instagram, and it got a lot of traction. And it was actually an old post, but what I realized is that a lot of people, don't catch the information when it comes out, or they might be new, or they just forgot. So I posted about an Islet, irrevocable life insurance trust, and this is something that I think is important for people to understand. Just the trust period. We should probably at some point bring a lawyer on to talk about trust and estate planning because it's extremely important, especially when you're talking about wealth. But the whole point of a trust is to take things out of your name, and this is why when they always say, you always hear that cliche like, what is it? Own nothing, control everything.
Yes.
And that's kind of where that comes from. Whereas a lot of wealthy people they don't really, and they're not really in a hurry to have their name on everything. And this goes back to even that versus battle with Jeezy and Gucci.
Mm.
And when Jeezy said he owns half Atlanta, and then of course people on social media they got to Googling and they was like, well, it actually comes out that he only owns one house in Macon, Georgia. Da, da, da. And then there's another wave of social media people that was like, well, you don't, just because your name is not attached to it doesn't mean that you don't own
Surprise.
it, right? That's
facts.
actually more beneficial because just how you found out that he owns that house, like, don't you think that it would probably be beneficial that you wouldn't be able to find it out? And it's like, that's why people own things and trust and LLCs and different things of that nature for protection on a legal side, but also to take things out of their personal estate because there's a thing called estate taxes. So this is extremely important where it's like, okay, as you're accumulating wealth and you become wealthy, this information might not apply to you right now, but God willing, it will apply to you in the future. And this is the whole point of why you're watching Market Mondays, right? So when you're 10 million up and when you're 20 million up, now you got a whole different set of problems. It's not like your problems aren't money, your problems are keeping money.
Yes.
That's extremely important. Getting money is one thing, keeping money is a whole different ball game, and that's the part that they never taught you. They never really taught you how to get money, but some people are smart enough to figure it out. But you definitely wasn't taught how to keep money, because even if you get money, it could just be a fluke. They'll let you have money for 20 years, 30 years, but that's not really no real money, because ultimately you're just going to give it back in 30 years anyway. When you die, your family, the IRS, everybody's just going to come, and then one generation you back to where you started. So this is extremely important to understand. So when you hear the word trust, it's just important. I wanted to kind of give that groundwork.
Is notepad time? I just want to know if it's notepad time.
Yes, this is important.
Let's do this then.
It's always notepad.
Let's do this then. Let's do this then.
Yeah.
Money Green, let's go.
Money Green, the money team.
Hey.
So there's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. Let's put this out there right away, because I'm not going through this with you. Oh, this tax evasion is a federal crime that you will be penalized for, and you'll probably go to jail if you ever get caught. This is when you're purposely avoiding paying taxes and you're lying on your income and you're not reporting income. That is tax evasion. That's illegal, and you should never do that under any circumstances. Tax avoidance is the practice of minimizing the taxes that you owe in a legal and efficient manner. This is something that smart people do and wealthy people have been doing for a very long period of time. Tax avoidance is not tax evasion. They're two different things, right? And we can have a conversation about Donald Trump at some point if you're interested, but that's a different conversation altogether.
I will duck that straight.
Everybody out of scene. Everybody out of camera.
I'm cool.
So your whole point is to pay as little taxes as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. And this is why it's important to be a business owner. This is why it's important to have deductions. This is why it's important to have employees, because the tax code, once again, is not set up for employees. The tax code is set up for entrepreneurs and investors, landowners. These are the who do you think writes the tax code? This is something that people don't fully understand. And one thing that you can't do if you're trying to become wealthy, you can't beef with information. Don't argue with information. Don't
Or
fight with the
legislation.
information. Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you're not qualified to speak, you have to listen. If you're not qualified to speak, you have to listen. This is where humility comes into play. So, all right. Having said that, the Islet, irrevocable life insurance trust. Very important to understand why this is even important. So, the irrevocable life insurance trust is when you have a life insurance policy, but you're not the owner. The trust, you have a trust set up, and the trust is the owner of the life insurance. Now, why is this important? Because if you own life insurance in your own personal name, right, and you die, now that gets added into your estate. Now, if you're worth $5 million and you have a $5 million life insurance policy, now you are actually your estate is $10 million. It's actually a issue because now you have what's called estate tax. You can study what happened to Prince. You can study what happened to Michael Jackson. When you don't have an estate plan, the government comes and they want money within 90 days. So now you have to. This is why the whole estate sale. When you see a lot of musicians like Elvis Presley, they selling his guitar because they don't have enough money. So now you got to do a fire sale and start selling things, start selling autographed jerseys, start selling homes because you got to raise money to give it to the IRS. That's because they didn't do estate planning. Extremely important to understand this. So to avoid the life insurance causing an issue, then you can put it in a trust. And being that it's in a trust, it doesn't get added to your estate because you don't own it. The estate owns it.
Yeah.
That is the benefit of it. Now, what it also can do is pay estate taxes because if you have taxes that are due, now you can use a portion of the life insurance policy that's owned by the estate tax free to pay your estate taxes and a variety of different other things that you can actually do to set it up. So, like I said, it's not for everybody. Um, but a lot of people listen to Market Mondays. So I'm assuming that some of the people probably are in that situation where they are wealthy. You just by the number, if 100,000 people listen to this, some are wealthy.
Yep.
And that's just the law of large numbers. And like I said, if you yourself are not wealthy, that's okay.
You're
At
going to
some
get
point,
there.
at some point,
Stay with us long enough.
when you are
Yep.
there, it's better to have the information as opposed to not having the information. We saw it happen. Rest in peace to Takeoff. He didn't have a will, didn't have any estate plan in place. His parents, I guess, they're not together anymore, and now allegedly they're, fighting over his situation, and it's in probate, and it's the whole thing. So it's like these things keep happening. They keep happening. It was happening in the '60s with Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
It happened with Prince. It happened with Michael Jackson. It
Tupac.
happened with, and it happened as recently with Takeoff. This is generations keep making the same mistake because they're not educated and they're not informed, and you're not planning for your death because you're thinking that it's superstitious that if you think about death you're going to die. Well, newsflash, you're going to die. It's
At some point.
100%. It's 100% chance you're done. You're going to die. That's the thing about it. It's 100% chance. I've never met a person that has not. I've never met a person that is a 300 years old.
They're not die proof.
500 years old.
They're not die proof.
I've never met a person that's immortal.
Yep.
I've never met a person that has Elon Musk, all the money that I've never met a person that has become immortal yet.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe they are. I just never met them. I've never met an immortal person before. I never met somebody.
Maybe with some of them babies they put like in that Matrix womb, they'll be able to live for 300 years.
Put them in the bubble.
The Matrix pod.
Jesus.
Put them in the bubble. The real bubble.
That's the other big podcast boom we're going to see.
Yeah. So
The Matrix pod.
reach out to your trusted lawyer. Get your estate plan in order. This is extremely important. And this is what I'm doing myself as of right now. I'm getting my estate plan in order. So even if you're not at the level to get a trust, check your beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Get life insurance. Get a power of attorney. Get a healthcare proxy. Get your estate plan order. We're at the top of the year. Everybody's setting a New Year's resolution. This is a good resolution for you to have. Have a conversation with your family. Have a conversation with your children. Sometimes you got to have uncomfortable conversations. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about that. I'm sure we'll probably, like I said, at some point we should probably bring a lawyer on and we can have an even more in-depth conversation. But important to keep in mind.
New Year's resolution: check your paperwork.
Update your paperwork, fam. Listen, if somebody put it on you good 2 years ago and y'all broke up, you may want to take her name off for Bernice to get all your money, and then all your 3 kids on the side be mad. It has happened. I know somebody who, I ain't gonna say your name. I love you. I was in love with her. Why was you in love with what she was doing to you? Okay, great.
Great.
Think with your head, but not your head, right? Never updated his paperwork. Nice little policy came through for the side joint, not the main joint or the kids.
And then
So
one last thing, because people ask, what's the best type of policy? There's a variety of different type of policies, but the policy that I'm using personally is guaranteed protection universal life, because that's a lifelong policy where it's not designed to build cash value. So it's a cheaper premium than a whole life or a IUL. But you don't want to do term with this because term is going to run out.
yeah.
So you need a permanent type of policy. So for all you people that's like, well, whole life isn't a good investment. Well, I'm not here to convince you that it is a good investment.
But if it
I'm
runs out and you never get the benefit, that's a
Yeah.
great finesse. And I'm pro term in some cases, but if you don't expire before the 20 years or 30 years and then they get to keep all the premium, that's like options for the brokerage houses.
Yeah.
20 years is here,
Yeah.
expired.
But the guaranteed protection is another choice where it's like a hybrid between term and whole life, where it's not designed to build cash value, but it's going to be here for the rest of your life, so you don't have to worry about it expiring. So
How much coverage are you getting? Or should we
how much coverage? To be determined.
We zoomed in on that.
Mike said, Mike, clip that out. Shawty, like, what you doing? Boy, okay. We'll have that offline. Join our group text. Our Make Money group text, and we'll tell you how much coverage you should be getting if you want your leisure to be earned.
All right.
Man.
So let's get back to this investment conversation. What are 3 things people should do today to make 2023 the best year ever?
Yeah, I put this earlier on social, but you need to write down what your one big personal financial goal is first and foremost. Because most people, when I ask them, I'm like, hey, what are you planning to do in 2023? Most people don't know. Whatever that goal is, 15x it, because you're probably thinking too small. For those of you who are like, hey, I want to make my first 100 grand, my first 200 grand, I'm going to tell you when you get there, it's overrated. You're going to be like, damn, I did all this work for this little bit of money. Number 2, you need to set what your big spiritual goal is for the year. Because the era that I'm in now, like, is what I call my heaven on earth era. Like, I want peace, love, happiness, joy, great friendship, great relationship, great business, all at the same time. Sometimes we'll put the business before health. It's a mistake. Sometimes we'll put the health over the money. Big mistake. I want us to have it all at one time. And then I want you to put the one thing that you're going to do to positively impact the world that puts the numbers in your favor. So one big personal income goal, one big spiritual goal, and then what are you going to do to have impact? Because in order to get the goals that you want, you have to help a certain amount of people. You need that. You need your spiritual life to be, regardless of what you practice, you need peace and harmony there. But for our audience, I want to see us actively run into people on the streets and be like, hey, I made easy $2 million in the market Mondays. Because once you realize, like, some of these companies are being valued at astronomical numbers that don't, even like with ChatGPT, I think it's a solid invention. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. They got to 1 million users the fastest. People are valuing it at $3 billion. And I'm like, it's downscaled AI. There are a bunch of apps that are better than that. So if there's so much money out there available for us, why are we only shooting for 100 grand in a year or 200 grand or 1 million? Set your goals a lot higher. Like I want to, well, I won't say my goal because I'm going to be smart like you, Rashad. Save that for a later date. But whatever your initial thought is for what your goal is, set it 15 times higher. And you look at that every single day to get to where you want to be. And 2023 will be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, can I add 1A to yours? Because you
Yes.
said the goal thing. I think, and this is something that I did over the past couple, like, week and a half or so. It's just like, I want you to take an inventory of your life. Like, really take an inventory, like, really assess what's happening in your life and really evaluate it, right? Like, I know people say treat yourself like you're the CEO of your life, you're CEO of your family, but, like, really take an inventory.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, then the chances are we're going to replicate the things that we've done in the past year, past 3 years, past 4 years, past 5 years. And that doesn't just go for, like, monetary things. I really want you to like assess the relationships in your life, accept, reassess the decisions you've made, whether financial, even in the market. Like if we don't assess it and we don't understand the lessons learned from it, then we're going to repeat them. And that goes, like I said, that goes from a financial standpoint, that goes from a people standpoint, that goes from a spousal standpoint or relationship standpoint. Really, really reassess what's happening and what got you to the point. If you haven't reached the goals that you set, like every year, everybody has a New Year's resolution, right? And it's like, well, that dies out in February because the same habits, the same things that we were accustomed to, they rear themselves again. And it's like, well, we're in the same place, right? It's that treadmill theory, right? Like everybody running, life is like a treadmill, everybody running in place, getting nowhere fast.
Yep.
Like, how do we reverse that cycle though? Like we really need to reevaluate the position that we're in and the decisions we made and see how we can change them, right? Really have, and like I said, from a family standpoint, for sure, like have constructive conversations, not just like, yo, hey, how you doing? Hey, how the kids? Like constructive conversations, like you said, talking about a trust, talking about a will. These things are important, man. And so
Spend
if you want to have the best year,
Yep.
yeah, if you want to have the best year, like really assess where you're at so you can make sure that it's a productive one for you.
And one thing about like what I just said too about the whole trust, I read a comment on Instagram and somebody was like, "Yeah, that sounds so good." I'm just looking for somebody that's actually implemented that to know if it's really real. I just told you it was real. You're not gonna find anybody to implement it because you're not in the circle where somebody's actually like this is the thing about it. When I was in the space for 12 years, these people never spoke about this publicly.
Yep.
So it's like you're getting information that
We're not even supposed to have, to be
no,
honest.
you're not. Exactly. So it's like take the information, even if you don't fully understand it, just listen to it, learn more, do some more research on your own. That's important. But telling you, man, you're fighting. It's too many people that's trying to fight information. You're trying to find holes in it. You're trying to find what's wrong with it. I promise you, this isn't theory. This isn't
Stop
theory.
potting in the comments. Yes.
Yeah, anything that I'm speaking about, this is what I actually learned from on the job training, like on the job training, literally seeing it happen, literally seeing people doing it, literally doing it myself, literally.
Yeah.
So it's like you're trying to beef with the information that you shouldn't even be really privy to. You wasn't privy to it before we came, so understand that, have some level of appreciation.
I like
But
this you.
no, you can't beef with the information. It's extremely important because it's like y'all trying to debate. Ain't no debating. You're trying to debate topics and go back and see, okay, well, what is the loophole and like, not gonna help you.
Speaking of debate, should we be number one on cultural impact on every list? Yes or no? Let's get to it.
Well, let's talk about this because there is some more investments to talk about, but let's talk about this since you're at it.
Hey.
Shout out to Jim Jones.
Hey, Capo.
Jimmy, what up?
Our guy.
Set the internet on fire. Smart.
A genius.
A lot of lists.
A genius.
A lot of lists.
A genius.
Oh God, here comes the ego part of Ian. I thought he was being humble. I am for entertainment though.
Shout out to Jim Jones. So he made a podcast. He made a list for top podcasts, and it was actually brilliant because I never saw anybody actually of any like real level of his stature actually compile a list like this. So when he puts the list out, it really goes viral and people start reposting and people start debating and people feel away about it. And he put a top 10 hottest podcasters of 2022 list out. At number 1 was Drink Champs. At number 2 was $1 Million Worth of Game. At number 3 was Earn Your Leisure.
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, YA.
YA.
Go trademark that too.
YA. At number 4 was the Joe Button podcast. And number 5 was Kai Cent. It's interesting pick. At number 6 was No Jumper. Number 7 was Carisha Please. At number 8 was Kitchen Talk, Mano's podcast. At number 9 was Lip Service. And at number 10 was My Expert Opinion, Math Hoffa.
Math got to be higher than that to keep it real.
So
was a list? So was a list in order?
Yeah, it was in order. He put a number next to it. So
Math got to be higher than that.
So
yeah, I thought that was part of it. I was like, people were like, this should be higher, that should be higher. I thought it was just a list he compiled of 10.
Well, I mean, he put a number.
Yeah.
If you put a number, something, I'm assuming that number represents where the
important. Okay.
So now, from my opinion, I think it's a good list. I do think it's a good list. I would add. I mean, of course, I'm biased, Market Mondays. I would add high level conversations, and I probably would add 85 South show.
Absolutely.
That's just my own personal opinion on it. There's a few Kai sent. He doesn't have a podcast, but I understand the
He's
rationale
cooking.
behind it because he's on fire right now. But just if we just going to keep it fair, I guess you got to take him out because he doesn't have a show. And Mano's interesting choice.
I like Mano though.
No, he's actually he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Solid.
Um,
Super solid.
And lip service might have been a little controversial. That might have been a little controversial.
Shout out Angela.
Once again, Angela Yee. Great person.
I ain't running no relationships. Shout out Angela. Who else on there?
It's not even about ruining a relationship. I'm just saying.
No, I'm learning.
No, that's a film.
I'm about to go hella Hollywood this year.
No, that's a film.
Still, shout out to Ally. Shout out to JP Morgan.
So my whole thing is like, I just want to know how we basing it because, and I respect all of these shows, and I've watched all of them shows. But we're not a podcast.
Movement.
So and I just need to know how it's being based because it's like when you base it on views, that's important, and when you base it on downloads and social media, that's important as well. But I haven't seen anybody do 14,000 people. I haven't seen anybody go to London and have 4,500 people hanging off the Raptors and Royal Albert Hall. Like I ain't really seen nobody like in Egypt and Nigeria and in Madison Square Garden.
Houston.
I need to know what the criteria is.
And to be real,
I just need to know.
What have y'all learned from listening to them? Have you made money, got more women, glowed up? Like, what are we doing? And most of them are a copy of a copy anyway.
And that's super respectful though, because I actually love and appreciate all of those shows.
And a lot of them people is friends to the show, but we personally have relationships with them.
And I do think that Matt Hoffa should be higher,
way higher.
But
yeah, I guess.
I just need to know the criteria.
What defines impact?
What's the criteria?
Yeah.
Because like I said, views are important, and there are shows that get more views than us.
Are they if they're bought? Because I can go spin a bag and go put some money up and get our shit to $2 million a fucking show too.
Who's buying the views?
Real bad.
Would you like to speak on it?
No. See, and I'm an easy out. That's Ian. You know he a Tupac fan. That wasn't us. It's my last comment for the year.
But shout out to all those shows though.
Yeah.
Because they changing the game and they doing their thing and they got tremendous cultural influence. But I just look at it like
Yeah, I think maybe that's a better conversation, right? Influence.
Who's had the biggest impact?
Influence.
Yes,
but
in real life.
Yeah, and there's some that did make. Shout out to B-Dot. Shout out to Elliot Wilson. They said maybe next year, but like that's something that I watch, and especially from a visual standpoint, Rap Radar is dope. So, everybody's doing their thing, but we just got to define what impact is.
It's just different. Like what we've been able to curate, it's just a little different. That's all. Like it's just, it ain't slightly. It's heavy.
Forbes, please call. I want to do the top 10 podcasts that generate the most gross revenue.
That's a different conversation altogether. That's now we cook.
What did he? One. We gonna go crazy. There's a lot of
people that's out here that have a voice that what they talking about is not important.
True.
It's not important at all. So how does that play in? Like when you talking about something that's not important. Oh, I forgot. I would also add the Pivot and I Am Athlete too.
Absolutely.
They had great years. And Shannon Sharp's show.
Club Shay?
Yeah.
How would you have handled that if he was there with Skip? That bothered me. That bothered my soul.
If I what?
If he was there, the Skip disrespecting Shannon.
What did he say?
Tom Brady had a better career than you, and he put your glasses back on. Skip, I would have beat that ass.
Tom Brady did have a better career than Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
true, but that wasn't the debate point though.
That's not even a debate. I love Shannon Sharp. That's my favorite.
That wasn't. It was disrespect of how it was said though.
Oh, how you try to play him?
Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
Oh yeah, I ain't see it. I ain't
I'm
see
gonna watch
it.
it.
But he's right.
Oh, he's 100,000% right.
Yeah.
But shout out to Shannon Sharp though.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's a genius.
and he's a great analyst and journalist. He's great. He's great at what he does. Club Shay Shay is dope. Listen to it a bunch of times. Dion,
Don't let
episode is
anybody
fire.
respect you for the bag. I keep telling y'all, a lot of y'all be getting disrespected because that money not right. And then people like, yo, you be tripping. No, I was free before I got here. That's why I act this way. Don't let anybody disrespect you as a man
Free before I came.
over some
But
fucking content.
Also, it's important to understand. Like I said, words are important. EYL, I would say Market Mondays also, and definitely high level conversation. They're not podcasts. They're shows.
Yes.
So that's the difference. So let's
They'll see
keep it
this
in
year.
perspective. It's a show, and earn your leisure is everything. So
Go trademark that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it though. I
Shout out to
appreciate
the
it.
love.
But it's levels. It's just certain levels that have to be.
Speaking of
honored.
levels, was Grant Cardone right that if you make less than $400,000 as a man, you'll let your family down? Another hot take.
That's a tough one. I ain't going there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna touch that. I ain't. Yeah, nah. I really know people.
on.
Nah, we really know people.
Hold on.
Nah.
That's a tough one.
Let's
Staying
get back
away
to
from
peace.
that.
Stillness is the
Yes.
key by
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday is the book
Shout
recommendation.
out to all the lists that included us and,
That's it.
and included our family. I've seen a bunch of lists that had some of the shows that we affiliated with and that we know. So shout out to everybody that made any list. And if you didn't want it, it's okay.
Well,
It's an opinion, but the work is the most important thing, right?
Absolutely.
Will you outwork whoever you think your competitor is? Will you outwork or will you set a new goal for yourself this year? That's more important.
But shout out to Jim though, because that was actually dope. That even for him to even consider us,
That was dope.
I think it's dope because it's like with financial literacy. Everybody else on that is talking about rap music and no disrespect, but it's like that just goes to show you that we're fighting an uphill battle. Let's be honest, right?
And we was on Line and Diamonds.
It's much easier to entertain people than to educate them. Like we're fighting an uphill battle.
Absolutely.
So for us to even be able to reach the level of notoriety in the culture is actually pretty amazing within itself. That's a success within itself. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. So that's a win within itself.
They're in trouble when I start streaming from Starlets though. I'm make this entertaining. 2 tech, 2 index.
Gotta do it.
AMD. Sliding
Gotta
down.
Yeah.
So all right. So let's get back to this. What are the most 2 overrated sectors of investing this year?
All right, Ian, before you start, let's
Thank
just go
you.
from an educational standpoint.
Yes.
Right, I'm gonna give them all 11 sectors because some people are gonna be like, what are the sectors?
Mhm.
And so the stock market is compiled of 11 sectors. I'm gonna read them all for you, and then I guess you can go into the 2 that you think. All right, so
Yep.
there's information technology, healthcare, financials. Hold on, Mike said, click this over. All right, so let me be clear here. All right, so we got information technology, healthcare, financials, consumer discretionary, communication services, industrials, consumer staples, energy, utilities, real estate, and materials. So those are the 11 sectors of the market. And you're going to tell us the 2 that are most overrated.
Number 1 is consumer discretionary, especially if we're still in a recession. Number 2, even though it's not a sector, it's a subcategory, the entire NFT and Web 3.0 space. And I know the comments are going to go on fire. But everyone was selling us on utility while investing in NFTs, most crypto, and most Web3 platforms because of the securitization and the returns. I always hear people talk about blockchain technology, what I think is very useful, but then they'll point me to the returns that they can get on a project. Despite the truth that I told in Austin about Bored Ape Yacht Club and its origins, I think they still have one of the most brilliant campaigns I've ever seen in the last probably 10, 15 years. But I think we can all agree, now that it's falling apart, that most NFTs are worthless, most crypto is worthless, and most Web3 projects are garbage. Yes or no? Please put it in chat. And you know how I know? If Web 3.0 and NFTs were the saviors to the financial community, then why can't it save Coinbase or any crypto-based brokerage right now? Same with Meta. When I went to my third meeting and said, hey, if likes reels and all this content being uploaded on Instagram is the answer. Why isn't Zuckerberg uploading more reels and more content to fix the company? So if the core product does not fix the financials of the company that you built, why are you pushing that to the consumer base? To me, the biggest Ponzi right now in the digital real estate space is streaming. And some of you have read and sent the articles about the streaming farms. But if I was telling you that a project was getting 100,000 streams a week or a day or per month, right? And those numbers are nowhere near true, but the average artist is now selling 14,000 live. And to the point that we made earlier about impact, most artists can't even sell out a 5,000 seat arena right now.
True.
That would be called a Ponzi scheme if I was actually selling a product or a financial result around it. Shout out to Spotify. I know a couple guys that have a couple shows that can bring the value of the company up. But if I burn through $1.5 billion after Joe Budden left, I would be called a fraud. Con man, Madoff. Right? So you burn through $1.5 billion trying to build a podcast division that most people don't listen to none of them damn podcasts, while still charging subscriptions and telling me that certain artists are getting 200 million streams per year and they cannot sell a 7,000 seat arena. Houseway, which brings me back to technology and hardware and software being a combination like Tesla, because you need real use case. Now, if there's a company that can actually get people out to shows and out to buy product, when I was going all through the Galleria throughout Christmas time, it's light. Traffic is light everywhere. Houston, Dallas, Austin. I'll see when I go to LA what the traffic is like, but things have slowed up. I think what this recession revealed is most of the numbers were fake, like a lot of them YouTube views on a lot of them shows we talked about. Please be careful. And I know some people are not going to like this take. I think Coinbase will have a chance, but most crypto projects, of course, are going to fail. I remember even in the summertime when we was with Terrence, and Shadi was like, hey, let's clip this up real quick. I'm like, Coinbase could be in trouble. They could go out of business. I don't think they will go out of business, but they've had a hell of a fall since July. If I say something is going to fall, make it your resolution to short it so you can make money from it. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Been too many copies of this show. Now we got a show damn near with the same name coming out, Troy.
You say mine.
How?
Drop
And y'all
a bomb.
say I'm tripping?
Drop a bomb.
Yeah.
Can we do sound effect?
Let's see what we got in here.
Mike, put it in post if we can't. My God. If I say something is going to fall, you should look to short it.
We can laugh at them.
I can't wait.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Often imitated,
It's
never
impossible.
duplicated.
It's impossible. Shout out to all y'all for being here.
Everybody that has a stock show is Copy Market Mondays. Every one of them. Excluding
Pick one.
Nobody.
Pick one.
Excluding nobody.
Drum roll, please.
Let's not forget. Let's keep it all.
Nobody's excluded.
Even like everybody wearing suits now. I'm like, people are like, why don't you wear a suit? No, everybody copy my shit. I gotta come some leather pants and shit at the show now. Nobody black even dressing up. Show me the post from 2018. There's only a few who was talking Bono and Trap. It's only a few. And I keep saying this, like, when I go to these meetings, and I would have got a cease and desist if any of this was a lie. JP Morgan, Citadel, Pipeler, Trademoss, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock. I don't see none of these people at these meetings when I go. They be asking me, am I lost in the lobby? No, I'm going to floor 58. What you mean? Here go my pass. Swipe me through. Swipe me down. I'm in there. What you mean? Well, I don't see none of y'all go. What happened to all up? Let me recenter. Stillness is the key. Say I'm more than capable of winning every trade that I can take. Let's recenter in. It is about the people, not your ego. See, I'm working on me. I'm doing the work.
I like that. Let's recenter.
Boy, y'all not gonna copy going to the Starlets though. Bet you don't. Me?
Difficult.
It's gonna be tough. Joey, when we going? Corey, boy. Okay.
Yo, 2 texts.
Shout out to Assets Over Liabilities, the slogan. Came up with that, branded it. that became a cultural phenomenon. I remember telling Mike, like, yo, put the line here, put the line over there, assets over. It's like a division problem. People saying I'm an asset, not a liability. That's why I'm saying I
Mm-hmm.
need to just know how we gauging this. Like assets over liabilities has become part of the urban dictionary at this point. Nobody
When it
was talking
wasn't
about
there.
that. It's an accounting term.
It's
That's an accounting term.
entrenched in the fabric.
Y'all gotta be honest. At some point, honesty will free you.
Yeah, but it's more than slow. It's a lifestyle, right? Because
It's
people
everything.
actually are really assessing their lives and try to figure out which one is which.
It's everything.
That's impactful.
Well,
Big asset.
some point we just gotta tell the truth. What is a 3-step formula traders need to use in 2023 to have more wins this year?
Number one, you need to figure out what stop loss for what you're trading is in a range that won't be hit. So I know a lot of people like looking at average true range. Average true range isn't the best way to formulate this, but it's a good place to start. Number two, you have to realize that the formula, and I think most people for this year that we're in, because we're like an in-between year, should only do like 20 trades per year. You have to learn to trade more size and take less trades. So I know some of you love to scalp to death, and that's great. At some point, you have to learn to put some position size on your options, on your swing trades, and on your futures. Because what good does it do to trade 2 shares, 2 futures, 2 options contracts? At some point, you need to get to a baseline of like 30 or 50, where if you have a win, it can have like an astronomical impact on your trading. And then it also allows you to be more patient to wait for the right deals. Like we need to find the right deals, not just a whole bunch of them. And number three, you have to find a way to get your drawdown less to 2% per trade. So go through every stock, every future, every option that you trade. No more than AMC GameStop BS. That's over with. I thought they were coming to turn over the hedge funds, and dog, that stuff gets put like that's PR, right? Like if I'm running a narrative that I can get 2 million people to say at one time, that's paid for press. And going to Rashad's point earlier, no one, like as black and brown people, we're not even supposed to have this information. These kind of family secrets are supposed to be kept within families and not shared with the public. So do with it as you choose to. But you need to get your risk down on every trade. So number one, once again, I want you to find a way to trade bigger size in your trades. You need to have smaller drawdown. And if I can give one more bonus tip for traders, I'm gonna be honest, you're not taking the craft serious enough. Too many of you want to. How many of you, please put yes in chat if you actually like went through 700 or 1,000 stocks last year and marked off the ideal prices where to get in. It takes work, even over the holidays. When I'm talking to them, Shotty's like on a treadmill. I'm just like, Troy, what you doing? Like, same routine, going through different boards. I'm like, damn, you got a new lens here, Mike. I need the 12 to 24 millimeter with the center lens. I'm like, damn, you stay on B&H. How many of you took 3 weeks off and you're really just now getting back into the motion? Grind at this every day. There's millions and millions and millions of dollars able to be made in the space if you can trade. But I think some people keep quitting too much. Stop quitting on you if you want to get the bag. Hope it helps.
On you. The year of you.
The year of you.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Right though.
That is a fact.
Yep.
That is a fact. And the great thing is, like, even when I was an advisor, I would forget, like, going through like meetings and stuff when I was learning. First couple of years, we had like training, and they always say, like, focus on high net worth individuals. Like that's who you should focus on. Like,
Yep.
like those are the clients that he's like, you can't make money with people that aren't high net worth. That was a key emphasis of it, and they like really drilled that in your head. Whereas, like, everyday people, they could be great people, but our products, our services is not for them. Like, there's government program. Literally told me there's government programs, things of that nature that can help people like that. But what we talking about, don't focus on that. Focus on high net. You're gonna waste your time. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm trying to get you guys to understand this. Like, we democratized education when it comes to financial literacy. Don't sometimes when you have, it's hard to appreciate things when there's an abundance of it, and there's an abundance of information And what happens over the course of time is that you have different phases. When you first receive the information, it's a euphoria. It's like a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You're in euphoria stage. Then you become numb to it. Then you actually have some level of resistance from it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a certain level of envy. And this is the dangerous.
Mm.
That's the crazy part about life. It's like when you helping somebody, right? And it's like you got to be careful who you help, because it's like when you helping somebody and they're not really even worthy of helping them. What happens is that you give them $100, you give them $100, you give them $100. They say thank you, that's my man, and they love you for life. They champion you, and then it's like at some point there's a switch that happens, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
even realize that they shouldn't even be getting $100, and they look at it like they should be
Let alone
getting more.
thousands.
No, they should be getting more, because if
Yeah.
you're giving me 100, how much money do you have to even give me 100, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now it's a certain level of entitlement that comes in when they haven't done a tenth of the work that you've done. They don't even deserve $100, but now they looking at it like, damn, that's like, yo, bro, you can't give me 1,000. Like, why not just give it to me? You got it. Why not? And then at some
But won't
point,
work for it.
but at some point, there's some level of envy. And then at some point, that envy just starts to spill over, and then you like, bro, like I don't got it. I don't got no money for you. Now,
That's me all
that's
2023. I'm going to cut you off. If you ask me for anything, I ain't got it. You robbing from Xander. I won't let you rob
yeah.
him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it's a dangerous cycle, because now at that point, now they could potentially try to harm you, and now it's a 360 moment where the person that you actually helped went from gratitude to envy to now it's a certain level of danger.
Mm-hmm.
This happens all the time.
Yeah, the more you help, the less and less appreciative the people are of the help.
But this happens not only in on that type of level. This happens on social media. Now people
Yes.
want to slander. Now they want to slander you. Now they want to say that you don't know what you're talking about. Now they know the information that they give is not really that. It's not really that beneficial. It's basic information. Like, and it's like, well, what you have before this.
Big facts. I want to see. I mean, because even when I was talking to somebody yesterday, I'm like, I never agree with having a handler to handle the business. They're like, no, you should. It works. You just picked the wrong person. I'm like, if I made myself financially free and they're not at the place where I am net worth wise, why I need somebody to handle my business when I made myself broke, then made myself rich? Seems like common sense. No, you need to give more. Create your own opportunity. Be grateful. 2023. Even boundaries. Hey, even the Red Panda. I'm gonna give y'all the prices. Y'all take them. And Red Panda, you don't get a chance to like message me because you want to date me and all that. Let me meet up with you at 12:30 in Parsippany. No, baby. No. No. Even that you gotta be of a certain caliber too. No. No. Say no more. 2023. To keep and I tell my friends this all the time and family. I see why celebrities move the way that they do and then restrict access. Because you can give so much that you can make everyone end up hating you. Because they feel like, once again, you are owed more. And if you go broke, they're gonna say, "I never asked you to give me that."
That's a fact.
Really?
Man, your gratitude determines your latitude.
And they not gonna, like I always say,
that
like
be the part.
when you
Man.
up. The last thing I say about this is just Jim for life. When you up, they gonna always say like, "Yo, can you help me? Can you do something for me? You didn't do enough for me." When you down on your luck, the only thing they gonna say is that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he
That's
fell
crazy.
off.
That's crazy.
Can't
fell
believe
off.
that.
Like you gonna tell them a whole story. You're gonna tell them a whole story about how your car got repossessed and your kid is hungry, and they're gonna listen to it. They're gonna listen to the whole entire story.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna look you in your eyes. I mean, it's one or two things they're gonna say. They're either gonna say that's crazy, or yo, I'm keep you in prayer.
And won't pray for you.
Won't even pray for you.
Not gonna happen.
They'll say that's how crazy this. Like these people will say that they'll say, "Yo, I'm gonna pray for you," and they won't even pray for you.
Won't pray.
They just say like they won't even like your picture, let alone trying to help you. Like they won't even say a prayer for you, bro. Like they'll say, "I'm gonna pray for you," and won't even pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the type of generation that
And be a whole demon. Talk about you.
Yo,
What you praying for?
Please
nah.
don't.
Like even over people, man, yo, bro, I need $5,000. Because I said, you don't even know my mama name. Like, what you mean? You won't even repost the Market Mondays flyer. You don't give you $5,000?
Yo, bro, that literally
Boy,
happened.
stop.
I had a gentleman call me the other day. He wanted to start a business, and he figured like, yo, you're from where I'm from. This makes perfect sense. I'm like, I don't like the idea. I think it's bad. How much is it gonna cost to get this business off the ground? $10 million. I I said, you haven't made 100,000 in a year. How you gonna get 10 million? Well, that's where you come in. No, that's not where I come in, bro. That's actually not where I come in. This is a person who's never ever not liked the picture, not reposted a story, nothing. Just like, yo, I know you.
No one wants to hear about you guys' growing pains. Remember how it was when you were up and coming. And I remember when you had 2,000 followers. I was financially free then too. Now, I might clip that up. Now, let me see them posts from 2016.
Gratitude goes a long way. And even at the level that we're at, man, we still are very gracious with anybody's time. It doesn't matter who it is, right? So if somebody invites us to do something, we're on time, we're punctual, and we're gracious for the opportunity, man. It goes a long way. You never know. The person you meet, you know, could change your life. And that we still live by that. So like gratitude is vitally important, man. Y'all got to really understand that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. YouTube demonetized 50% of creators' videos overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Is this documented? Is there a source for this?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's a punch in the gut.
That seems like a lot. I want to make sure that we have the correct information.
If not, blame it on me. Mitigate all risks, take all liabilities, but provide the asset. Big lesson.
While we're looking for cross-reference this, YouTube. YouTube is demonetizing videos left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As the music industry is paying less, so if you curse in the first 8 seconds of your video, then they, since inception, they're going to go and demonetize your video. Because of course, if advertisers have less money to spend, they want cleaner content. This is why I curse less here as well.
Thank you.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm happy to. So they need cleaner content to run ads against, and it's a sign of a recession. Google stock is still down. But I hate the entire sponsorship, pay-per-view, click per stream model anyway. So in some parts of it, I love, because I've always told everyone, if you don't build a real business around the content or have a product or service to sell against that viewership, you're in trouble anyway. So I think in this era, people are going to learn you have to build a more sustainable business. Yes, I think Mr. Beast built an amazing model that is very hard to be replicated, and now he's spending $20 million on production, and I think that's incredible, right? Most people can't do that. And also, by the time you hear of a Mr. Beast, at the time, PewDiePie was the hottest thing on earth, and then he got surpassed. You always have to look for the next thing. Number 2, you have to look for a business model that even if you have low viewership, is able to produce high revenue. I can argue there's probably 7,000 shows that get more views than this. I can guarantee you there isn't 10 y'all can name that make more money than this show. Number 3, stop relying on platforms to make you rich. It is only their job to make their shareholders and their families rich from that product. You're going to see this happen too on Instagram, Meta, even for Reels. Like all that, they want you to get 200,000 views to get a $700 payout. I'm like, what? Why? I'll just go get me 15 girls off OnlyFans. Like, comment, subscribe for more, and be done. And make way more money. It is Fibonacci Girls coming 2023. Probably next week. My guy hit me. Let's make that happen. Stop depending on platforms to make you rich. That is not their job to do so. When most of these tech companies cannot make themselves rich. Like, if we have a real conversation about taking out large-scale venture capital investments into most of these companies, most of them will not be able to generate billions of dollars. And some of them are making billions of dollars and still at a loss. Snapchat at a loss. Everyone put in chat, what are like 5 of the biggest tech companies that are negative in revenue the last 3 years, but they're publicly traded? Got to be careful. Please be careful. The content game is another Ponzi scheme too. They got y'all making, even here, 4K, great, and you sell your whole, let's talk about Lensa and AI. Oh, brilliant. I had that app 5 years ago, right? If you go through the terms and service, because I know everyone's saying, well, if you're an artist, you can take the AI to make more art, to sell your art. Here's the crazy part. Any photo or derivative, that's why they have you load up 15 of them, they are able to sell all of your creations that you put into their site in perpetuity, plus the lifetime of your children, without you making any money off of that. Talk about a hell of a business model. Like
So let's talk about AI. What are the two most promising features of AI that all entrepreneurs
Can
should implement in their business?
before you do that, can I just clean up the YouTube thing? So
yes,
there
you
was
can.
some demonetization happening. It was really focused on gamers, and they were looking at gaming content. As a result, the policy is taking issue with the violence depicted in some video games and more broadly. And so they're losing graphic video games that depict graphic and dead bodies in a non-educational video and ultra graphic violent acts, including those involving law enforcement and injury. So I'm thinking like when people are going on YouTube, Call of Duty is one of those.
That's
Grand
slippery
Theft
because
Auto.
even Fortnite,
Yeah, it's right. So
even
all these
Roblox.
videos that depict that, but there's also a new policy, and I suggest that people read it. That they how the demonetization is going to happen, starting in well, it started at the end of last year. So profanity, the rules have changed, and obviously language and thumbnails. Thumbnails are important to the viewership of videos.
Hmm.
And so there's a whole new thumbnails and titles and videos containing any adult links, obscene language, adult material, any sexually graphic acts are not going to receive revenue. There's a whole list, and maybe I'll screenshot this and put this in, and we'll put this up in a story or something like that, so people can see
Or
it.
let's put it to the group text.
Or we could just do that. Or we could do
Wow.
that as well. Yeah, but it's good. And if you're a content creator, you should know these things. I know everybody doesn't read the rules and regulations or the terms, but it says it in here. And so if you're looking at your videos and wondering why sometimes it's limited or not available for monetization, they obviously have changed the rules a little bit. So good to know. All right, but go ahead, man.
All right, AI, artificial intelligence. Uh okay, this is here,
Hmm.
and I will say that shout out to 19 Keys. He gave us a dope walkthrough. I actually set up a Zoom call with the team, with Earn Your Leisure's team and his team, to give us best practices of how he's actually been using artificial intelligence.
Yep.
And I won't say everything, but he definitely gave us some really dope insight on things that I wasn't aware of, as far as how you can have articles written for you,
Hmm.
how you can have titles written for you,
Yep.
thumbnails, different things of that nature made for you. It was actually very impressive, and it was very interesting, especially from a journalistic standpoint. I was very
Yes.
impressed with the technology of how it was writing articles. So I see a lot of benefit
Hmm.
from there, especially, and I'm sure a variety of other different things. But that's just the firsthand experience that that happened pretty recently. So what's your thoughts on artificial intelligence?
I think two sides of a great. I was having a conversation with Keys on live. I think the number one thing that Elon needs to do with Chat GPT is to have a paid subscription for the top 10,000 influencers to have Chat GPT create all of their tweeted content to make it go viral. Since now he's putting up the view.
Can you tell the people what Chat GBT is?
It is a AI company that allows you to write articles, headlines, scripts. Even if you want to like do outlines for shows, like we're gonna see way more investing content. The top 10 lessons you need to learn on investing from Chat GPT, right? So it aggregates all the information and it writes articles and information out for you. I think is great, but even at the core of it, a lot of what is missing is soul and heart. So you can have a list of 10 things, but if you don't have real life experience with it, it's not going to hit the same.
Yeah.
But if Elon, of course, bought Twitter and he is an investor in Chat GPT, it would be a great arbitrage play to tell influencers, hey, Instagram is dying slowly. Um, Now use this and pay us $1,000 a month or 3,000 a year, and we'll write all of your tweets for you and allow you to go viral and get more reach and have AI do it for you. That is a win. At some point, that will be put into Tesla software, and I think will be a great advantage there. And it will allow you to scale. The thing that it will not give you, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting because the same things and the flaws that you're saying, they're aware of it. And so
Mm-hmm.
there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Chat GPT. I know some people are like, what was the letters G PT? They actually took a survey of what people were saying about how the platform is performing. And one of the things that they said is like, even when it's automated, right? So it's a language. It actually optimizes language for you. It doesn't have an authentic feel to it. It
Yep.
still feels a little bit robotic. So a lot of people were creating their resumes on there, and it was crisp, but it didn't have authentic
Mm-hmm.
stories from it. It was just whatever you told it. And so their thing was like, okay, we're gonna go back now And our new venture is how do we add that component to it? And so they already know the flaws, and they're like, all right, let's fix them before the general. Because I feel like even now, there's a majority of the population probably doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
But they will shortly, right? Because it's one of those things. And I think the most valuable thing and kind of what we saw was like how it allows you to get back your time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rather than writing an article, you can dictate a sentence and it can create a 4-page article for you,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously takes back a lot of time for you from an automation standpoint. So it's interesting. They're very aware of the flaws, and they're like the same thing that you just said. And I was like, wow, that's great that you said it because the article is based on that. Like they know what the performance flaws are. They're
Yeah.
working on them right now to update them.
Which makes it an easy acquisition target because it's really an SEO game. It makes it a good target for Google to buy it. And even with that, like I always say, when everyone was talking crypto and NFT, no one was talking automation. When I told everyone by 2030 they want to have all jobs automated, 25% off of human beings. So look ahead because the thing that they're pushing to you is not the next wave. Like by the time they're pushing it to you in your face, they already are working on something else. I think it does give you scale. But let's say hypothetically you make a show and you call it Market Mondays Part 2 and you write all of your content in Chat GPT. What is stopping Google from taking all the information, seeing the data, the analytics from that show, and then going to create that against you with actual artificial intelligence? Because that's not really AI at scale. That's like the consumer version. Now, the B2B and B2 government is different and way more robust. My fear, as I illustrated with Lenza, a lot of people are going to try to build their businesses off of automation. And guess what? Because you haven't read terms of service, they have rights to all of your information and data, and they can now take your information in aggregate and use it against you to put you out of business. And guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. But you're going to sue Google. You're going to sue Elon. Does not work. Automation is key. But if you are not building some of your own proprietary software to keep that data in-house, that's why like I never farm out when it's time for me to call the numbers for where to invest. I never farm that out because I don't want it to get stolen or sold off. If you're putting your best ideas up on these platforms and they're charging you $300 a year, as we've seen with GameStop and Robinhood, when they're selling that data, who are they taking that data and selling it to? Why wouldn't Spotify come to Chat GPT and say, hey, I'll give you $100 million for every lyric song that was written in there, and then if I get the AI robot to actually work, that it doesn't look like a buffoon, and I make this go crazy, and we create a digital Bad Bunny with all y'all writing y'all songs in here, it's over with. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, but I've
And
not
then
been
the
wrong.
voice, they take the voice too. Just automate the whole voiceover.
Yep, at scale.
Wow.
It's robbery season right now, man. If y'all not paying attention, this era is going to produce people that make 50 and 80 and $100 million in like 4 or 5 years, and then there's going to be a class of people who are just like broke and destitute. What side of the coin are you going to be on? Are you going to get rich and wealthy in this era from this information, or are you going to sit on the sidelines and complain? Got to pick.
Information locks doors. Oh, all right, two more things before we wrap, but I want to take another break to make a public service announcement. Um, Going back to the content creator thing and the support thing, and this is important to understand. Like, there's a variety of people that are mad because they never was on Earn Your Leisure. They feel like they was blackballed. Let me explain something to you. Blackball doesn't mean that we built the platform from the beginning and we bootstrapped it and we put all the money in and we promoted it and we chopped up the clips and we reached out to the guests and we got lit and we are where we are now and we never invited somebody on. That's a personal decision. We can do whatever we want with our platform. Blackball is actually calling people like, yo, don't rock with this person and don't do this and don't sign him and don't go on somebody's show and don't do a deal with. I personally never in life have ever done that with anybody because I don't have enough energy and enough time. And that's just something that I'm not even interested in doing. But not putting somebody on your platform is not blackballing somebody. That's saying like we do whatever we want to do. And the crazy thing is, people will people like they won't share a post. They'll never help you build your platform.
Yep.
They'll never help you build your platform. They won't have any positive comment. They'll actually be negative and try to actually hurt your platform, right? They won't do anything to ever help build your platform. They won't share a post. They won't try to get you a guest. They won't do anything in life to ever help
Positive.
build a platform.
Yep.
And then they feel like they're entitled to be at a show, or they're entitled to be on your platform. Like, I'm not sure what world you living in, but this ain't never gonna be the fact that like I'm just not sure what goes into people's brains these days, where it's like you think that you're entitled to be on somebody's show, and then if you're not on their show, you're being blackballed. Like, what galaxy does that work in? Public service announcement 2023: respect and love to everybody.
Mhm.
But we don't got to do anything, and we're not getting bullied into doing anything. We do whatever we want to do, and that's the beauty of being independent. That's the beauty of being self-funded. That's the beauty
Big
of
facts.
putting your own money up. And
Big
I encourage
facts.
everybody else to do the same. So it's
Yep.
like, if we felt like, oh, we're not getting on this television show, da da da, you know what we would do? Create our own lane. Like, this is
Or work
2023.
harder.
Nothing stopping you. Like, if you feel like somebody not rocking with you, do your own thing. Like, I just don't understand people mad because like somebody not rocking with them. What world is that?
Or
What world is
if
that?
you can't get on Earn Your Leisure, drop off 400,000 cash to me when I be in Midtown. I'm gonna go right up to where they at and bust it down with them. You can come on and talk your shit, but be better. Now I'm with the blackballing. One of y'all whole empire to fail. With me,
Earn Your Leisure
stillness is the key.
It's going to be extremely hard to get on Earn Your Leisure. It's already hard. But it's
400.
harder.
400 though.
Harder.
400. Shout out to him. 500. I'm him. 400. Come bring me 400 grand.
Half a ticket. See in with a half a ticket.
They're like, what's the qualifications to get on Earn Your Leisure? It's just whatever.
Be solid. Be solid. I'm gonna tell you. Be solid and be great at your craft.
But let me explain something to you. Also, there's no qualification. If we want to put you on, we'll put you on. If we don't want to put you on, we don't gotta put you on.
Yeah, ain't no price war. Like, we gotta stop doing that. Yo, we do this at our leisure, right? If we feel like the value add is important and our community needs it, the community needs it as an overall, then we're gonna do it.
It's an eye test.
Yeah, you're not.
But what you can't be a hater and then be like, put me on, and then we get along. No, bro, to be a good look. I'm good looking already. I don't need a good look. 400. I told you I went with none of the. Listen, everybody gonna come around. Y'all gonna learn.
What you're saying is right, man. Be solid. Just be solid. Like, there's dudes. If y'all know what we did to build this, you would understand it. Like, literally, from phones to where we at right now. Like, on our team built this, man. Like, there's no paywall. You can't, like, it has to be a value add and it has to make sense.
Rap, hit on Prozac, hit him with the Bozak.
Shout out to my bro in the building.
Yo, y'all got
solid.
Yo,
there you go.
It's gonna be even worse. It ain't gonna be no explanation.
Can we get to talking about the thing?
It's gonna be no explanation. It's gonna be Invest with no influencer on. It's gonna be Earn Your Leisure with nobody that you know as a guest. And there ain't no explanation.
Market Mondays with no other guests.
It ain't no explanation why. That's we don't gotta give nobody no explanation for that. You understand what happened in 4 years? We built this from the bottom. You think we owe you an explanation on who we put on the show and who we don't have on the show? You out of your mind? That's crazy. That's like saying, like, yo, why you not cooking lamb chop? Imagine somebody coming over your house and say, like, why you don't cook lamb chop for me? I'm hungry. Yo, it's your fucking mind. Like, you ain't built this kitchen, you ain't built this house, you ain't put no food in the groceries. I don't even eat lamb. You out of your mind? You talking? You like grateful. Looking at me crazy? Like, yo, I'm hungry for lamb chops. Why you don't cook this lamb chop for me? Social media, man, is different.
Make y'all entitled, generation. And then when I get to putting y'all out, then y'all want to cry.
Putting y'all out? Not even coming in.
Yo, not invited.
Doors
not
locked.
Invited to nothing. Not invited to nothing.
Shout out to the sturdy kid.
How about nobody? Everybody's invitation is revoked except for 10 people. 10 people. If you're not on the list, you're revoked. You've been revoked permanently because you've done something. You've done something. And it's not just one person. It's a variety of different people that have done some level of nonsense. And it has not gone unnoticed. Been noticed.
Talk to him. Nah, really talk to him. If you can't, that's what I said. If we don't have a genuine relationship, you can't pull up on us when it's not an episode or it's not for your benefit.
And just support. And you guys see me do it all the time with 85. See me do it with Lone. Like, I be posting people content and just don't ask for nothing. Flagrant, brilliant idiots. ransom gems. I'm like, dog, just be a
Nah,
solid
but
person.
that happens a lot though. Like I said, that's not just for one person. That's for a lot of people. Like, yo, when y'all gonna have me on? Y'all like, yo, y'all not
If you
coming on.
can't get to Troy and Rashad, 400.
That's not the best way to go about it, man. I promise you, that's not the best way to go
600.
about it. It's not the best way to go about it to demand that you should be on. Because I got this many followers. Like, I don't care how many followers you got. I don't care what your influence is. Go on the Breakfast Club. Do a bunch of different things. We're not the only show here. You act like we the only show in the world.
And I'm gonna be real. Quit going to them acting like y'all gonna replace me. Not gonna happen. I didn't see a lot of y'all making this kind of content before. Wait till I go start filming this giraffe content in Africa. Okay, well we're gonna go right to Animal Planet. I'm tired of playing with y'all, man. If this is the hardest genre to crack the code in investing, and I got this shit down to a science. You don't think I can go Bear Grylls in the woods for 8 days and run a bag up? Okay. And I waited for all y'all to put out your best content, and that's all y'all had? Great. I love this. 2023, let's go. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. I'm going to get mad on here one day, and I'm going to go through every fucking stock on Australia, London, Indian stock. Why don't y'all call no plays from India stock market? Hello? Come on, Star? Yep. Hello?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Teacup in.
All right.
Yeah.
Put the teacups in chat.
Last
And this is just for
question.
entertainment. I'm really not that upset.
What are the final pieces of trading advice that you want to share for 2023?
The teacups are in chat.
Number one, listen to Ian. Number two, your risk to reward is going to be the greatest multiplier and going to be the greatest reason why you end up in profit. Only take 20 trades this year and find your edge. The confidence that I have in the market does not come from hubris. It comes from time in the market. So you have to master how to get the best entry on the planet, how to have the best stop loss. Can't be too tight. It needs to be in an area that cannot be touched. And then your system is going to be any prediction. I know Bitcoin dropping sounded crazy, Coinbase sounded crazy, but when you have a system in place that you do not deviate from, you don't need to listen to anybody else. I love for those of you who like, man, I ain't watched the show in like 8 weeks because I got my thing down to a science now, and I'm printing money for myself. Great, send that check too. But we have to realize too, like, we have cornered this market based on my intellect in the market. You don't have to deviate. All the answers that you have here, like, go watch the past episodes. If you want to go watch the ones with Josh Brown, watch the ones with Bonham and a bunch, Trap, Einstein. All the answers are there. I love it. Shout out to Scott Wapner and Bob Pisani and everybody at CNBC. They'll tell you this show is better than a lot of shows over there. Peter, I'll be coming back. I'm getting your text. I'll be back. Citadel, what are we doing though? Caffeine, what are we doing? The clock is ticking. Because I'm going to get real mad and I'm going to blow up your business model. I want to do this business right. Loon, I feel like you. I should have been number one on everybody's list. Feel you. And most of the, what podcast not making money? So I'm going to get mad and come and tell the truth one day. And maybe next week. All of y'all who want to do content, go ask them how much money are they making. Outside of us, 85 South, Breakfast Club, Joe Budden, $1 million worth of game, and they not make less than $100,000 a year.
Drink champs.
Being real, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I always tell you for the women, if you want to know if a dude doing good, go ask his wife or his baby mama. They'll tell you all the real. You seen me take some on vacation 7-8 times on accident. I just feel like going to Mexico today for the tacos. You don't say what we doing. Okay. Neighbors think my name is K Rico. For real. Hey, I'm going to show y'all this year.
How many trades should they focus on this year?
Que guapo. 20. You're so handsome. 20 for the year.
20 is the number.
Yep. Don't deviate from that.
The last thing,
real quick, before 20 is the number. Are we diversifying sectors, or are we sticking to 2 or 3?
2 to 3. I would do 3 max, because you can't really, unless you're putting in like 6-7 hours a day, you can't know everything about every industry. But I would look at materials, and I would look at defense as well.
Yeah.
But
Defense.
master these damn markets.
Yeah, that's what I was, and I'm asking that very intentionally so people don't have to just try to look at all 11 sectors and try to figure out the top 3 in each one. Pick 2 or 3, find the top 2, and do the math on it. Right. So like energy was a great performance sector last year. Okay, well maybe
Won't
you
be
look
this
in it.
year.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Well, maybe right. It's got, so when they talk about cyclical, right? This is when we talk about cyclical movements. That means like it goes from one sector to the next. So if energy was this year, maybe it's a different sector next year. Defense might be one, right? So you got to look at perspective is key. Look at everything and then say, all right, well, let's see the history of how these cyclical movements go. Right? Is it energy and defense or is it information technology? Right? Is real estate set to pull back?
And I
Right?
told everybody that a year and a half ago. They're like, "Yo, you crazy?" The real estate, the home buying levels are at the levels of 2007. Hola, cómo está? Muy bien. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. And I'm gonna be real. Anybody who say my predictions are wrong, man, you should like, you know how you got the Kramer index. Like if he say something, you got to short it. Whatever I'll say, gotta go. I know y'all don't like when I say it like that, so I'm gonna clean it up. Whatever advice that I give you, it has a precipitous advantage to the upside. I want you guys to make the most money possible. So if I give a prediction, therefore you should probably look to go and a bull market because I'm El Matador, right? I can help navigate you in this bull market. Man, just let me help y'all make money.
Shout out to Mav Hoffman.
Yes. And Styles P.
Our episode's coming out this week with Jay Alexander from Fubu founder.
Yes.
That's fire.
Legendary. Last question is, what is the biggest lesson of 2022 that will have the biggest impact on your life?
Man. I can't say the brother's name, but when I went to the exchange, I was like, because he looked happy. You like, as business owners, we all see somebody like working and building a business and they're really tense, and then we'll see him again in like 8 months and they're relaxed, right? And he's as calm as can be. I'm like, man, what's going on? He like, business is booming.
Business is booming.
I'm like, what you do? He said, I found one alpha that changed the business. And this person 15x'd the business for me in 1 year. I said, what? He said, I know you kept saying 10x. He said, but you can get any check written for you if you find a way to come in and provide a multiple of 15. I'm like, you gonna make her partner? He said, she can write the check for whatever she wants. She wants 60% of the company. I'll give it to her right now. The biggest lesson I had for sure is that every product, service, person, business, entity, idea has to operate like a hedge fund, and it's all about what kind of returns can you get. But if you can find a way to 15x something, that had a profound impact on my life. And even when I went into Meta, I told Meta like, yo, I need 700. You want me to help? I need 700 cash. The number that they needed me to hit to give me 700 was 15x of that. So if I just stop doing market Mondays all of a sudden and we just put up old replays, hey, Meta bag, and I found some other bags for us to get. Provide the highest return for whoever you're working with, and then you'll be able to have your freedom. Leisure's been earned. You can get you some teacups too. Charlamagne, I still got to send you cups. My bad. I was supposed to send you these last time. The time that got canceled. But I got you.
He sent some tequila this way.
All right. It's been real. Let me just give this brief. Delta Airlines, man.
Oh, tell the story. What happened?
Hold on. Time out. We got to close up. What we doing?
Tell us your biggest lesson in 22, then we can get to this.
Camera 3, please, Shotty.
Thank you.
Delta, you guys, man. You guys have done a terrible job throughout the course of the whole entire year. And it was just a way to end it. So I go to Atlanta for a day trip. Shout out to LeBron. Went to see LeBron play on his birthday. State Farm Arena. He did not disappoint. 47, 10, and 9.
Wow.
Courtside seats for my guy Alex Good Energy. It was a whole vibe. Then went to his birthday party afterwards. Got a chance to chop it up with him. Good dude. Shout out to LeBron. So that was a vibe. And then I'm coming back the next morning, which is New Year's Eve. December 31st. So I had a morning flight to Westchester Airport in New York. So flight lands. It's scheduled to land at 12 p.m. So we get to at 12 p.m. We're hovering around Westchester Airport, and it's saying that it's heavy fog, and that it's a chance that they might not be able to land, but they're gonna hover around for 20 minutes to see if they can do something. 10 minutes later, they say, okay, well, we're not gonna be able to land because of too much fog. This is where the story gets interesting. It says, so we are going to go to Syracuse. So to put this in perspective, Syracuse is 5 hours away from the airport.
Beautiful
So
city.
that's like you're supposed to land in LA, and then they say, okay, we can't land in LA. We're going to land in Oakland. Like, that's crazy. Like, there's no other airport in Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut. Like, they skipped past hundreds of miles and diverted it to Syracuse, New York. I get to Syracuse, and they say, okay, get your luggage. I'm like, well, there's no plan. Like, what's the plan? I'm asking the pilot, like, is there a plan in place here? What do you mean? It's 5 hours away from New York. And, well, 5 hours away from where I was at in New York, because Syracuse is in New York. It's upstate New York. Oh, you upstate people, don't get mad at me. So I'm like, what's up? And they like, well, we just got to figure it out. Ask the people at the gate agent. I get to the gate agent. I said, like, what's the deal? What's the deal, bro? It's 12:30. I'm like, I'm trying to get home. Like, what's going on here? They're like, well, there's another flight headed back down at 5:30, but there's no guarantee that that's going to be able to take off because there still might be heavy fog. So I'm like, what's the option if that doesn't take off and you got to spend the night in Syracuse? What? New Year's Eve? No disrespect to Syracuse, but
Beautiful city.
Not where I want to spend New Year's Eve. So I'm like, okay, what's the option? So I'm hearing that the rental cars is like rented. A lot of people's rental cars. I really want to drive 5 hours. So I'm like, okay, try to call Uber. Try to call an Uber. I learned valuable lessons with this situation. I learned that Ubers don't actually know where they're going until they actually get there, which is crazy.
Yep.
Because 5 Ubers canceled on me once they realized that they had to go 5 hours. They're like, no, I'm not doing that. It's too far. So I'm like, all right, well, Uber's not working. This is like 45 minutes of trying to call an Uber, and I can't get any Ubers. So I called Lyft, and I had a Lyft right away. And the Lyft pulled up. This is the van that I put in my story.
That's the white van?
Yeah. The Lyft pulled up, and I actually contemplated getting in it for a minute. It was the dirtiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was.
Oh, I thought you got into an accident. That was a grab to pick you up?
Yeah.
That was the caravan. The white caravan?
Yeah. It was the dirtiest car I've ever seen in my life. It smelled like a mix of cat, dog. I smell like everything in the world. And I'm like, nah, I can't do this. I'm not even.
It's like Coming to America vibes.
So I'm like, nah, I got it. I actually got in for 1 second and I got it. I'm like, bro, this smells terrible. So now I'm back to ground zero. So I called so then I finally got an Uber. So I got in an Uber and he's taking me and it's going pretty good. Regular car, going good. And then after an hour, he's like, well, I live in Rochester and I got to get back home for my family. I'm like, bro, like, you took the job. I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I'll give you $100 tip. He's like, oh, I got to get back home. I got to, da-da-da-da. So I'm like, all right, well, here's the deal. I'm like, just drop me off, like, in Binghamton. So I took an Uber from Syracuse to Binghamton, which is like 2 hours away. So when I'm realizing with these Ubers is that they're not going to go the whole way. So now I got to chop this ride up in the thirds. So my goal, so I get dropped off at a random gas station in Binghamton, New York.
You can give us some picture of that.
Yeah. Just to kind of put it in perspective, these are the places that nobody goes to. So I'm in a random gas station in Binghamton, New York. And I'm like,
left field for a dude pumping D up in Binghamton.
Yeah. So I was like, can I use your bathroom? And like, yo, dope fiend destroyed it last week. That's the kind of environment that I'm in. So I'm like, oh man. So I'm on the side of the road in Binghamton with a presidential Rolex on and a book bag. This is the weirdest combination of all time.
Cardi's is on?
Nah,
no Cardi's.
Okay. No Cardi's.
So I'm just like, all right, man.
Funny.
So I'm calling. So I called another Uber, and the Uber came, and then I get in, and he pulls another stunt like, oh, you're going too far. Because my plan at this point is to go to Middletown, New York. There's a mall in Middletown. So I'm like, all right, when I go to Middletown, then I get another Uber from Middletown to where I'm at. He didn't even want to go to Middletown. It's a 2-hour ride. He's like, I'm not going. finally caught a pickup truck. White guy, pickup truck. Yeah. I'm in a
This
pickup
is like
truck.
Home Alone Part 2.
Like thumbs out with it?
Basic. No, it was an Uber, but it was a pickup truck.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So white guy, pickup truck, good dude, but you know what I'm saying?
Is this you and him in the front?
I'm in the back. So I'm in a pickup truck with this guy, and he's driving 2 hours, and we get to the middle town. So my plan at this point is, and the fog is crazy. I would say the fog is crazy. So now it's like 7 o'clock at night. So I'm like, all right, let me just get dropped off at a mall, and then from the mall I should be able to get another Uber in an hour. Somehow he misses the turn to get to the mall, and the next exit is 30 minutes away. So I'm like, damn. I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna turn around. I'm like, no, by the time you turn around, it's gonna be a whole hour because you gotta drive 30 to come back 30. I'm like, yo, just drop me off. I'm like, just go to the nearest exit and just drop me off. And he's like, where you gonna get dropped off at? So I'm like, I see a Burger King. I'm like, just drop me off at this Burger King. So he dropped me off at the Burger King. And now I'm in a Burger King with no one. It's 8 employees and no customers. Not one customer, 8 employees, and now I'm in Middletown, New York. I'm going from one random place to another. I'm in Syracuse to Binghamton to Middletown. I'm in Middletown, New York, with 8 employees at the random Burger King, and I'm just waiting it out. Now I'm trying to call another Uber from the Burger King to home. And the Ubers wasn't responding. I'm like, yo, Uber is like, what the hell is going on? Like, they're not. It's like the nearest one is 30 minutes away. I'm like, what is?
Wonder why the stock price at $24. Don't nobody want to pick up.
So finally, the guy, he was still outside the pickup truck. So I just go up. I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, look, just cut the meter off. I'll give you $200 if you can just drive me another hour south. He's like, all right, let's do it. So, like I said, shout out to him. He actually ended up driving me. Long story short,
He got you all the way here?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out
I
to him.
spent 8.5 hours traveling and spent probably around $600. And what did Delta give me? A $25 voucher.
For alcohol, probably.
$25 voucher. I'm like, yo, how do you just drop somebody off 5 hours away from where they're going? Like,
on New Year's Eve.
Luckily, I had the means to actually do that. But what if I didn't have no money? Like, what if I was broke? Like, I don't understand how you just think it's okay.
Delta's at $32.
Like, no plan in place. Not even saying, okay, we're gonna cover a hotel for you. You just drop them off, and like, we might be able to fly out in 5.5 hours. If not, just spend the night and come back tomorrow morning. What if I had to go to a wedding? But this is on a serious note. This was just an inconvenience for me. But I saw an article. A guy missed a heart transplant. Not on my flight.
That's crazy.
This is the kind of games that these airlines are playing with people's lives.
Southwest was guilty of that.
Yo, what if you got a medical procedure? What if you go into a wedding? What if you There's so much stuff.
Yeah, my dad flight got canceled 3 times, and it goes to show, like, even with that, some of the people there's a private strike in Southwest that's happening. No one's talking about, but the software hasn't been updated in 6 years. It's a travesty. So I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, is this who you put your faith in to lead the Black financial revolution?" He should be grateful that he had a chance to travel through all these cities.
Well, Delta, I mean, like I said, Delta, I'm a platinum member with you guys. We travel. I don't think anybody's traveled more than us this year. But I'm just disappointed with the nonsense that you've done. And this is several different times. It's not just one time. And it's like, you're supposed to be I expect this kind of nonsense from Southwest because they're a discount airline. You're supposed to be a reputable airline. I don't understand how this is even. Who thought it was a good idea to drop people off in Syracuse? There was no other airport close. Like, you couldn't go to Connecticut. Got a bunch of airports. You couldn't Long Island.
Albany.
Yeah, even Albany or Newark. There's a variety of different places that you could have landed. There's a variety of different places that you could have landed in, and your first choice is Syracuse.
Needs to be updated. And I always say,
I spoke. It was crazy. I spoke to you at 9:30. You was like, "Yo, I'm about to get on the plane. I'm gonna hit you back." Then I put my phone down, and then Dale hit me like, "Yo, what's up with Shotty?" I'm like, "What you mean? He's home."
Yeah, the storage is crazy. Yeah.
And then when I hit you, you was in Middleton.
Like, imagine if you flying into New York, and they saying we got to divert your plane, and you end up in Washington D.C. That's the equivalent of what happened. I end up like it's like going to L.A. and ended up in Oakland, or it's like going to Atlanta and ending up in Virginia. Like, how in the world do you think it's okay to drop people off 5 hours away with no plan? It's not like, okay, we're gonna get a bus. We're gonna get a bus, and everybody, we're gonna pay for a bus to ship you back downstate, or we're gonna pay for your rental car. We're gonna pay for a hotel. It's just figure it out. in Syracuse.
And this is representative of most companies in the United States of America right now. So if Delta's operating like that, like what do we think Long John Silver's is doing and Burger King? And we're going through a uprooting of American excellence in real time. And COVID really just exposed that most of these companies were not doing great. And this is why I always historically have said do not invest in airlines across the board because the margins are too thin. Invest in the 1% of the 1%, and you'll be good. In Delta and United or Uber, and that service is representative of the stock price. Both of those are in their 20s.
Nonsense. All right.
Yeah, they're leading a federal investigation right now. Southwest.
South by Southwest, they doing all kinds of nonsense.
Not South by Southwest.
Southwest is crazy right now.
Yeah, the amount of cancellations with zero planning.
Southwest is crazy.
The Fed is stepping in.
But like I said, I expect it from Southwest.
I expect that from Spirit, not Southwest.
Same thing. Spirit and Southwest is
they right high, you know.
Tomato.
Ego is the enemy. The other recommendation for
that's crazy. That's on the shelf right there.
Oh, that's dope. See?
Yeah.
See, I turned on my Troy Joy and we're in sync. See?
Ego is the
I had a couple of rage moments, but I'm good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it could always be worse, man. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another Market Mondays in the book.
Yeah.
Happy New Year's to everybody out there. Have a prosperous year. Don't forget, next weekend, we will be in Houston, Texas, January 13th to January 15th. Go to 40acreconference.org. 40acre Conference on Instagram.
Oh, shit, I'm in LA.
Get your ticket.
Okay. Yeah, get your tickets.
You gonna be there?
No, I'm gonna be in LA. Yeah, I'm gonna be at Rance's thing, 1500 there.
Okay,
yeah.
shout out to them.
Yeah.
We're gonna be interviewing a celebrity. And it's VIP.
Does he golf?
I feel like everybody golf. It's just a matter of if they're.
That's
good
a great.
enough.
Well, you good. You are good.
We are going to be at the golf tournament. Everybody knows the last golf tournament we went to. We won.
Got the trophy to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Steve Harvey.
Yeah, shout out to Steve.
So that's gonna be one of the ones, man. Houston, Texas. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, shout out to our bro Larry Morrow.
Larry Marlowe.
His birthday will be that weekend too
in Houston.
So he will be out there. So we'll probably link up with him. Shout
out to Larry, man.
Yeah, and shout out to y'all. Mike, watch this. Shout out to y'all. All right, I want to just obviously the market opens tomorrow, but I want to give a shout out to everybody that can hear my voice and that can see me right now, because this was a tough year. 2022 was a tough year, especially in the investment world. And I know a lot of people talk about 2008 as one of those economic crashes, but this 2022 was the worst year since then. And a lot of y'all weren't involved in the market then, but you were over the past year, and you're still here, and you still got a plan, and you didn't give up, which most people do when we see an economic crisis, right? They say, yo, I lost money, I'm never going back. So I want to give a huge shout out to all of y'all that are listening and supported Market Mondays, obviously supported Earning Leisure.
Yes.
Because you had the wherewithal and the fortitude to say, yo, I'm going to be financially disciplined. And I know that there was a pullback, but this is also an opportunity for me to create generational wealth for not only myself, but my family. So I want to give y'all a huge shout out. Love is love.
I love y'all dearly. Troy, send me what I need to mount my cameras up. Shawty Red on the track. Let me get the Shawty Reds on the track. What I need, 12 to 24, 35 through 50. Ryan, come hook me up. Come out, Mike got the baby, so Mike can't be traveling like that no more. Ryan, come out me up. I love y'all. Join the group text chat. Join the stock club if you're tired of losing in the market. I'm here to guide you. 2023 is going to be our best year ever. And please say it 5 times a day. I am more than capable of winning every trade that I take. I am more than capable of winning every trade that I take. I love y'all.
That's love. Yo, and shout out to my brother. He's in the building right now. Usually we don't have an audience, but we got a live audience today. Shout out to my brother Derek Falcon. We talk about him a lot every time people ask us about the episode that changed the game for us.
That boy dropped a classic.
It's episode 11, and he was featured on that, talking about his business in homemade. He got Cloudy Donuts in Brooklyn right now that's going absolutely crazy. He can't keep donuts. He can't keep the cinnamon rolls in the store. It's only open 3 days a week, and they going crazy, man. So shout out to my bro. He's here. I mean, just on some like brotherly love, yo. Yeah. Where you at?
You want to say something?
I'm pulling up.
Yeah, come slide through, man.
You don't like it.
Fuck that shit. How you gonna do me like that, my guy? Come on, man. You got to drop one gem. You got to drop one.
Shout out to the bro.
Shout out to Derek Falcon, man. Episode 11 changed the game, man. I actually was just talking about that yesterday. Somebody was like, "Yo, what's the episode that really, changed everything?" So I'm like, "Nah, episode 11 changed the trajectory of everything, man." So shout out to the legend.
I think he had the blonde hair that day.
Shout out to my boy Nacho Banger too, man.
Shout out to Nacho. We out in Africa.
Yeah, so I'm in Africa.
Yeah.
Shout out to
that
Nacho.
boy going crazy out there.
Baltimore.
Shout out to Mother Africa.
Tomorrow, Earn Your Leisure, Ross Mack.
That's my guy.
The Return of the Mac. Check that episode out. Tons of gems, a lot of information. Shout out to Chicago. And stay tuned, man. We got some big surprises, big announcements coming. And
Toronto.
Shout out to Toronto. Shout out to Paris. Shout out to Australia.
Shout out to Marrakesh.
Shout out to Japan.
Yes.
Shout out to Ghana. Shout out they let me come home, man. Shout out to him.
London.
All love.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. We'll see you next week. Stay healthy out there. Stay safe.
Peace.
Tap in.
Don't fly Delta. Peace.